As a little kid, I was a huge fan of SpongeBob SquarePants. I had all the episodes on VHS, all the merchandise my mom could afford, and I even had a SpongeBob room, the walls painted yellow with green holes. But after the SpongeBob movie, the episodes they put out were complete and utter crap. It just wasn't as good as it was to me back then. I could no longer watch the show, and I was later tired of it. One night, I happened to wake up at around 1 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep, so I decided to watch some television. I scrolled through the guide, and it said that an episode of SpongeBob was coming on at Nick at Night. I found this strange, as SpongeBob usually doesn't air this late. I thought I would watch it for old time's sake, and so I settled in to watch the episode. And the title card came up which showed Rock Moto. I didn't remember this one. It must have been a brand new episode, but I swear for a split second of that episode I saw a face. The episode began with a picture of SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward acting all silly in a group photo, which is very uncharacteristic of Squidward as I remember, but something was very odd about the photo. Where the trio's eyes should have been, there were only black holes. I found this very unsettling, but I remembered that the new episodes of SpongeBob were kind of like this, so I kept on watching. The screen became staticky, and through the static, it showed Mr. Krabs skipping rope with his own eyes, and then cut to black for a second, and then showed SpongeBob staring off into a black sky with a giant, realistic Squidward looking back at him. It then showed a still picture of Patrick carrying a hammer with a 2x4 nailed in his head. He was also talking in a very distorted voice. So much so that I could barely understand a word he was saying, though I could have swore that it was a SpongeBob quote from Lost Identity. The screen went staticky again and showed SpongeBob with black dots for eyes. He appeared to be carrying a knife and was missing a tooth. The next part was the worst part. It was a picture of Plankton, though through the very light static. He had this horrifyingly disturbing face that was so detailed and freaky that it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand straight up. The screen then zoomed out of SpongeBob's TV. Huh, that was scary, huh, Gary? SpongeBob said to his pet snail. I was relieved that it was all just a program that SpongeBob was watching. Then there was a knock on the door of SpongeBob's pineapple home. Come in, the yellow sponge chimed. Then Patrick appeared, his pupils missing. SpongeBob, I have to touch you! Patrick screamed. Then he disappeared. SpongeBob locked out of his door, frightened. Hey, a box! He walked over to a box. Hey, who's there? Patrick's laughing could be heard in the background. It then showed Patrick advancing towards SpongeBob. The screen then cut to black, though through SpongeBob's horrified screams could still be heard. His eyes open, and he sees Patrick with black holes for eyes, holding a knife. It then said an alternate scene was to come up, but that was just SpongeBob and Patrick jumping into a box. The animation then got jumpy and showed a picture of the Krusty Krab behind a completely black sky. The Krusty Krab, SpongeBob's voice proclaimed. SpongeBob's finger puppet appeared on top, and the camera went inside of the Krusty Krab. The camera is as if it was a 1930s cartoon. The screen was gray, but SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs all had the enlarged features, while the extremely disturbing Plankton was in the background. Ah, that's better. But then, SpongeBob's Glove World flashlight went out. Patrick's laughing could be heard in the background, and for a second, a disturbing Patrick with very real features could be seen. Hey, if I close my eyes, it won't seem so dark. SpongeBob's famous lines followed by him being eaten alive by spiders. SpongeBob then proceeds to run. The next few scenes were very staticky. An extremely disturbing SpongeBob appeared through the static, with real features just as disturbing as Plankton or Patrick's. Then it showed a picture of SpongeBob with black eyes for a second, then Squidward choking on a fork while it zoomed out in a picture of numerous video footage. Then a still of Squidward hanging Patrick from the ceiling, with black holes for eyes. Then showed the episode, and then after that it just cut to a show of Roseanne. But I was so scared by that time, I couldn't even blink. Every time I did, it showed that image of Plankton. It still haunts my dreams to this very day, and so does the rest of that episode. I've tried to tell people, but nobody believes me. I don't even sleep that much since I watched that episode. Every time I do, I wake up with the feeling of having cuts on my arms and a vivid memory of that haunted episode. Please, please, for the love of God, somebody please help me. I need help.